My topic is based on the experiences of former colleagues, friends, families, and me. I would like to see a solution which reduces or at least defers the incidence of falls in the elderly. When we're very young, falling is part of the learning process. From teenage years through to our 40s and 50s, we deliberately choose activities where we know that we will fall from time to time. Skateboarding, snowboarding, football, rugby, horse riding. It's just a fall is embedded in our mind. But for the over 65s, falls are a much more sinister event. 1 in 3 of this age group will have at least one fall each year. 1 in 2 of the over 80s will have at least one fall a year. 18% of the population is aged over 65. So this represents around 3 million falls a year. And 250,000 of those falls will end up going into A&E and requiring hospital treatment. The impact is severe. 1 in 100 falls results in a hip fracture. And mortality rates following hip fractures around about double the norm. 1 in 5 falls results in serious injury, and that includes death. And 20% of falls results in a loss of confidence and a reduced quality of life. Yet we know the main cause of falls. Firstly, chronic health conditions such as heart disease, dementia, low blood pressure, Parkinson's. Secondly, impairments such as poor vision, muscle weakness. Thirdly, illnesses such as labyrinthitis. And fourthly, environmental factors. Loose rugs, wet or polished floors, poor lighting, badly designed storage areas, stairwells, inappropriate footwear. All this is well known and documented. Plenty of projects look at the general likelihood of falling, but the algorithmic approaches are really looking at average effects in specific population groups. They assume a homogeneous impact across the group. However, the over 65s are a widely heterogeneous group with individual health, fitness, and experience profiles, far more disparate than at any other age group. The medical profession recognizes this through targeted medicine and targeted medical monitoring, but only for those with known medical conditions. If medical monitoring and environmental monitoring could be combined for a wider range of individuals, particularly those who don't yet have a medical condition, to provide real-time falls risk assessment and with feedback expressed in an interesting way to the individuals and, where appropriate, the medical advisor and family, then we could defer the incidence of falls and possibly even prevent more serious falls. The NHS would benefit from this in terms of reduced demand and consequential cost reduction. The producers of medical monitoring devices, a multi-billion-pound industry, would also benefit by opening up a new market of targeted devices at a higher unit price to a much wider section of the population. Now, I'm conscious that previous speakers have reminded you that you will all die at some point. They've also reminded you that a high proportion of you will need long-term care. Unfortunately, I also have to remind you that a high proportion of you will experience a fall in your elderly years. I'm looking for someone to ease the pain for all generations by helping prevent or at least defer the first fall. I mentioned a personal interest. I would have liked to be on your side of this lectern 5 years ago, seeking a solution which might have prevented my first fall as an over 65 in my 65th year. Thank you for listening.